Ayman Khan here for Seconds Out, joined by the magic of the internet with Ade Oladipo. Ade, how you doing, sir?
Not bad at all. Good to be here in Saudi. Not quite sure what to expect from the next few days, but nonetheless, I've been here a couple of times before. I've enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to the weekend.
Let's park that for a second. I just wanted to touch on yourself and focus on yourself for a moment. It's a long way off from the green chair to be sitting on the chair that you're sitting on now. It's been some journey, some rise for yourself. I don't want to say do you pinch yourself because I think when you say that maybe it's a bit of luck involved, but it's more the hard work that's got you here and very deserved position that you're in. What's your reflections on getting to this moment and how big of an event does this feel for you?
No, firstly, thank you. It's a strange one. Sometimes I do pinch myself. I feel like I'm very lucky to be at these events. And not just at them, because I've been doing these events myself before, but to be at them and working at them and to be a central point in them, still crazy for me. As a boxing fan, it's crazy as well. Like, if it wasn't the case of me being a boxing fan, then maybe not so. But as a boxing fan, it's crazy. Like, they told me that I'm interviewing Mike Tyson today, and I'm like, what? Like, what are you talking about, Mike Tyson? So it's strange. I think there's so much that I can still learn about what I do and get better at what I do. But look, I'm so happy and grateful for the opportunities, and hopefully they continue for a few more years.
Hard work and dedication, as the cliche goes, but very much apt in this situation as yourself that you carried it through, and as have the fighters this weekend to get to the top, to get to this event first and foremost. I want to start off with the British heavyweight title fight between Fabio Wardley and David Aday, much anticipated, especially after what happened with the red carpet antics a few weeks ago. Who are you favouring in the fight? And if you're looking at it in a brutal sense, it shouldn't have happened, but is it 1-0 to David Aday?
Some will say that. Obviously, look, you try and take any advantage you can in a fight that I think genuinely is 50-50. I don't just mean to say that to put my sort of bottom on the fence, but when it was announced, I went Wardley, and then you kind of watch Aday and his confidence. He looks like he knows something that we don't. He's probably the better natural boxer of the two. Wardley's more of a kind of a brutal street fighter. Every time he gets hits, he just wants to fight back. But I love it. I think it's the fight of this event. I think everyone expects Ngannou Fury to go the way we all will think it will go. But this is the one that I think stands out a lot, just because these are two guys at the start of their journey, two guys that are on the cusp of maybe being fringe world fighters. So honestly, I've woken up Sam Wardley in the morning after breakfast. I've changed my mind to Aday. It's that close between the two. And I think someone will get knocked out, but I have absolutely no idea what that person will be.
Now, in terms of the main event, Tyson Fury versus Francis Ngannou, look, from our side of the coin, we're not really giving Francis Ngannou much of a chance. From the MMA side of the coin, they're very much celebrating his opportunity, the opportunity to get a big payday, which you don't get in the UFC sometimes. But he's got that opportunity now crossing over into boxing. But do you see this being a close contest at all on the weekend?
No, not at all. Not at all. There should be absolutely no way that Francis Ngannou can get even remotely close to Tyson Fury. You're talking about the lineal heavyweight champion, and not just any heavyweight champion. Tyson Fury, I think, is a generational talent. He's incredible. And Francis Ngannou, this will be his first time in a boxing ring. So that guy shouldn't be able to really compete with that guy. But, I mean, you know, we've seen crazy things happen in the world of sport, but I just don't think anything will happen on Saturday. I've said that I think Tyson Fury could beat him, and I don't mean this as a hyperbolic statement. I think Tyson Fury could beat him with one hand tied behind his back. I know that Francis Ngannou has been putting out clips, and I think he's better than those clips he's been putting out. But I've been watching, I'm a big MMA fan, big UFC fan. I've been watching Ngannou for years, and he's not even a good striker in MMA. He's powerful, he's strong, but he's not even a great striker. So, look, Fury can win this in so many different ways, and I expect him to almost showcase his talents on Saturday. Look, he knows he's got $100 million check waving at him for the Usyk fight, and he's going to want to get through this one. No injuries, no risks, and I expect that to happen. Look, in an ideal world, I'm eating humble pie Sunday morning because I want there to be some sort of jeopardy. I want Ngannou to cause some problems to make it interesting, but I just don't see how that happens. He's just... I was thinking about this the other day, and I was thinking, is Ngannou even an area level heavyweight? I asked someone the other day, I said, could Ngannou beat Dave Allen? I don't think he could beat Dave Allen. And I think we all know that Dave Allen wouldn't last a couple of rounds with Tyson Fury. So those are your levels there. So, no, I don't expect Fury to have any problems at all. But I am happy, as you mentioned there, for Ngannou to get paid. His story's incredible. This guy was homeless, street homeless 10 years ago. And here we are now. He's about to make over $10 million and have Mike Tyson in his corner. I mean, that's a movie. It's crazy. So I'm happy that he's getting paid. But I think that kind of story ends on Saturday.
Just dissecting the fight a little bit further, you'd feel that if Ngannou is to have successes in the fight, it may be in the clinches where he maybe has the upper hand, maybe to a degree from those clinches, some inside work. But I spoke to Nick Webb, who's been drafted into the Tyson Fury camp heading into this fight, and he said he was very surprised by how good his inside game is, and he's very adept and able, as we've seen, on leaning in, making you take and bear his weight in those clinches. Just about how do you see any kind of gaps in Fury's game? How complete of a fighter is, knowing that if an MMA star has maybe those advantages, but his side of it is still that adept, that high class. How good of a fighter is Fury? Do you see any gaps in his game?
Maybe, and you point out a good one there. I mean, one thing that Fury's done to all of his opponents, especially in the last 5 years, is put that body weight on them, right? He's leaned all that mass onto them. And unfortunately, the likes of Wilder and Chisora and Dillian White have just not been strong enough to push him back. I can tell you now, Franchs Ngannou is stronger than Tyson Fury and can push him back. So that little battle they have up close, I expect Ngannou to have sort of strengths there. But we've seen this Tyson Fury, this version of Fury, is not afraid of fighting in the pocket and making it rough and dirty. So that might be where Ngannou gets success. But we've seen over the last few years, Tyson Fury gets success there as well. Did it against Wilder, did it against Dillian White. So look, I mean, if you're going to give Ngannou any chance, and I'm talking a very, very slim chance, it is when this fight's close. Can he push his body weight onto Fury, on the ropes, and start landing those body shots? That's his only option. If he tries to have a boxing match with Tyson Fury and stand off and use his jab and his head movement, then obviously he's been instructed badly, because that's not going to end well. He needs to get up close, rough him up. Even, the dark arts of boxing, the elbows, the clinches up close, do all those type of things. Get away with it until the referee tells you you can't get away with it. But Fury can fight anyway. He can fight on the back foot. He can fight on the front foot. He can fight off the ropes. He can do the dirty stuff himself as well. Fury's a complete boxer. And I think people are not talking about this enough, Fury can go 12 rounds in his sleep. Like, honestly, you watch 12-round Fury, he's like an old school 15-round fighter. Where, having watched Ngannou gasses quite early in fights. And he's not been active. Ngannou's not fought for 18 months. Prior to that, he fought a round. Prior to that, he fought a round. Prior to that, he fought a round. So this guy's not had a lot of work. So, it's going to be difficult for Ngannou.
For a traditional boxing fan, there is a small shadow being cast over the event. I'm not talking about the one that's currently on my face right now. I'm talking about that of Alexander Usyk, the undisputed heavyweight fight. Look, there is a small step forward, it seems, which is maybe presented as a bigger one, that being that it's signed, but boxing fans have seen this before, a bit laboured in terms of kind of really wanting to put their 2 feet into it and being all in with it actually happening. Do you feel that it does happen now after hopefully Fury gets through this fight with Francis Ngannou? Do you feel that undisputed fight will happen this year?
This year, I'm not sure about. I know Fury's spoken about it's December 23rd or nothing. I doubt it will happen this year, because that almost means Fury's going to fight on Saturday, maybe have a couple of weeks rest and go into another camp. And the camp for Usyk's a lot more serious than the camp for Ngannou. So I don't see it happening this year, but I do see it happening in the early part of 2024. Money talks in any sport. Money talks a lot more, though, in boxing. If you can wave a check, and they've waved $100 million check in front of Fury's face, he's going to take that money. Like, I'm still one of those people that feel that Fury didn't really want to fight Usyk. It's not because he's scared. I just felt like he didn't really want to fight him. $100 million has changed his mind. So, look, it will happen, but I think it's more likely to happen at the end of the Riyadh season, which is in March, as opposed to December. Like, you don't really need to rush it in this year. You almost can wait. And I think they're going to wait. And I expect everyone to be happy to wait as well. Again, it's a big fight. It's undisputed. It will happen, but I'd be very, very shocked if it happens December 23rd.
Sticking at the top of the heavyweight sphere and talking about a heavyweight that we all know in the UK very well and worldwide too, that being Anthony Joshua. Look, his innovative training methods have been fuel to the fire for people who kind of like want to poke fun and say, look, this is someone who's not quite all there. He's been affected by his boxing career and is really trying to recover from that. Have you seen that innovative method as that perspective? Is it that, or is it something different? I've thought of I was quite impressed by him saying, I was watching Tyson Fury's documentary and I've seen weaknesses myself that I could exploit that if we ever fought. But maybe sometimes unfairly he gets the finger pointed back at him in terms of where he stands right now in terms of his mentality. But what's your reaction to these methods that he's looking to improve himself?
Look, he's just trying to do new things, and I don't see the problem of trying new things. That some things will work, some won't. What I like about AJ is that he knows, even now, he's a former unified heavyweight champion, that he's not the complete package. Why not try and add anything? Boxing's all about fine margins. If you can add something that can maybe take up and improve your mindset by 1%, you do it. And that's what he's trying to do. I think the biggest thing for him, and I always said this, is activity. He's got to fight 3 times this year, and it looks like we are going to get that 3rd fight this year. He's got to stick with a trainer. It looks like we are going to stick with Derek James. I think those are the things people should be focusing on rather than a lot of what comes out of Anthony Joshua's mouth, because sometimes, look, he might contradict himself. But look, I feel like he gets the rough side of the green. I feel like people critique him when they don't need to. He wants to fight. I mean, you look at Deontay Wilder, for example, 1 fight in 2 and a bit years, and that 1 fight was around. Andy Ruiz, 1 fight, hasn't fought this year, 1 fight in 2022, 1 fight in 2021, no fights in 2020. We should be applauding heavyweights that want to fight rather than finding ways to critique them. So, look, I'm just happy that he's going to fight this year. My want and wish for him is that he does get the Wilder or Fury fights, regardless if he wins or loses. You can't have a career having those 2 around you in the same era and not fight them. And I think he'll get them, but hopefully he gets them sooner rather than later. Deontay Wilder's 38. Tyson Fury's 35. AJ himself's now just turned 34. So we need to see those fights. We need to see them quick. But look, I think it's a good thing that AJ's still around.
Finally, just sticking on AJ as the final thing, you mentioned about the fights that we want to see, and that being Wilder. I thought it warranted applause to see Deontay Wilder kind of finally come out and say something after being so silent in terms of fighting this year, and also silence from him just in general this year about fights. He said he wanted, let's dash all the talk to the side, let's fight, let's meet in the ring. It'd be a travesty if we didn't actually fight. That's a good step forward, I guess, for Joshua and Deontay Wilder fight. But you also get kind of these on the outskirts, there's talk of maybe a Charr fight happening or a Caballero fight happening, which isn't as appealing as a Wilder fight. Do you feel that we're more likely to see those 2 in the ring with Joshua than we are a Wilder fight?
I really, really hope we don't see the Manuel Charr fight. I've said that it's okay for AJ to have rebuilding fights. Again, this is the guy that lost back-to-back fights against Alexander Usyk. It's okay to step down if you want activity. And I felt like with Jermaine Franklin, and it should have been Dillian Whyte, but I thought against Helenius, you're taking another step up. With Manuel Charr, you're going down. Nobody is going to convince me in boxing that Manuel Charr is better than Helenius or better than Jermaine Franklin. So I don't want to see that. I think Caballero's probably the same level as Helenius, so I don't mind that. I don't mind other names that have been mentioned. Osavolin's been mentioned as well. Hrgovic has been mentioned. Those are the level of opponents AJ should be having. So he should be having if he's going to have a 3rd fight this year. Emmanuel Charr, I just don't see what you get from fighting Emmanuel Charr. I really don't. You can't even call him a part-time boxer. He's that inactive. So hopefully it isn't that. Hopefully it is a name that gives him a few rounds, because that's what we want AJ to have, right? And then we want to see AJ do what he did against Helenius, the back end of the fight. We want to see that sort of aggressive, more action-packed AJ. But Emmanuel Charr, I think, takes all the good work that he's done this year backwards, because I don't see what you get. And then hopefully that leads into a good 2024. But look, one thing we've always said about AJ is we need to see him active. It's been 1 fight a year for too long. Finally now, at least we've had 2, we will get a 3rd. That's great, because no other heavyweight's giving you that. No other heavyweight in the top 10 is giving you 3 fights a year. So not even 3 fights a year, 3 fights in 9 months. So let's hopefully see him with a good name. Again, I'll take a Caballero, European champion. I'll take a Hrgovic, unbeaten, just. I thought he lost to Zhang. I'll take an Osavolin. I won't take Emmanuel Charr. I just can't accept it. And I can't accept. And if I'm on the broadcast, I have to be honest about it as well. Like, AJ should not be fighting Emmanuel Charr. Emmanuel Charr is the same level as a Trevor Bryan, and we saw what Daniel Dubois done to him. So hopefully it's a case of 1 step forward, not 2 steps backwards.
Ade, great conversation. Real pleasure speaking to you. Go enjoy the sunshine that I'm not currently enjoying, and have a good time at the event.
Cheers, my man. Thank you very much for having me on.